Hello folks, back out at the flight line. I am the only one here. It's Tuesday, March 29th. Pretty windy out, that's why I'm the only one here. See if I can get this in focus for you. And it looks like it is pretty steady, about 6 to 7. Every once in a while I'll get gusts up to 8.5 to 10. Had a couple of gusts will go at 10. Just then it was a gust of 8.5. Got the FMS SuperEZ out here, and I got it set up and ready to go. Gonna get it out here on the flight line. This plane doesn't really like the wind too much, but I still wanted to give it a try. I haven't had a chance to fly the last few days due to some personal issues going on with the familia and stuff like that. So. We've had some really bad weather. Gonna get some more bad weather. So if I don't get up there today, it'll probably be another 4 or 5 days before I get a chance. So hopefully we can get this up. I'm gonna come out in high rates. I set this plane up. Just the old hat cam here. I set this plane up with flaperons. I pulled out a Spectrum 4-channel receiver, and I put in an orange V2, one of their newer ones, on a 7-channel, and I do have it set up with flaperons now. And I tried it one other flight, and every single time I tried to deploy the flaperons, it went into a steep nosedive. And I even had a little bit of elevator trimmed in with it. Typically you put in a little down elevator, and that's what I had mixed in. And sure enough, was going into a nosedive, so I took out all of the mix on the elevator completely, tried it again, did the same exact thing, just went into a nosedive. So let me try it now. Coming into the wind, about half the throttle, deploy the flaps, and now it's what it's supposed to be doing a little climb. Try it going downwind. Yeah, that's about right. It's really tough to gauge it with this wind, so I'm not going to try any landings or slow passes today with it. I just wanted to get a feel for it and see what would happen. Yeah, there we go. It's got a lot of climb, so I do need to put a little bit of mix into it, I think. Try a low pass here in front of us. Again, this plane doesn't like the wind at all, so I don't want to get too slow or too low, as a downdraft will push her right into the ground for me. But let's try us a touch and go. Come out of the turn. Get a little more speed on it. There we go. And back off the ground. Been trying to practice my inverted flight, but I get nervous when I get down lower altitude just because I don't have enough experience. And out here with this wind, I'm not even going to try a low inverted pass. Wind has definitely picked up since I took off. That gust that's just now coming through is much stronger than anything so far. Got to be around 14, 15 on that. You can also tell it by the way it was pushing the plane around. Normally I can fly this thing at half throttle out here with no problems. Right now though, it's at about 90% throttle the whole time in order to hold course. Except for the downwind leg. Downwind leg I can come down to about half throttle and it does okay. Upwind though, nope, you gotta keep her going. I think I mentioned I bought a Quantum GPS logger. I put in this plane a week or so back. Made a couple of full throttle passes. Believe it or not, this thing clocked out at about 57 miles per hour. I had no idea that was a full throttle pass there. I had no idea it was booking along at that speed. I really thought it was probably a third of that. Or half anyway. Maybe 35, I guess, something like that. But no, I was pretty impressed with it. It was ripping right along. See, right there is half throttle. That wind is just really beating it up good. Makes me kind of wish I would have put a gyro into it to help out with some of these wind conditions. I may do that. I've got 2 or 3 receivers with gyros in them. Maybe I'll put me one in it just so I can bring it out on days like this. So I had the mishap on this. I fixed the wing. Keep it right off the deck. Yeah, I fixed the wing and broke it in half and did a really crappy patch job on it. The whole plane is about 140, 139, something like that. And a wing, I want to say, is 40. So I think what I'm going to do, it flies okay, as you can see. Doesn't look real pretty. Of course, when it's up in the air, you can't really tell. That was a little rough there. Wind knocked it down. But yeah, when it's up in the air, you can't even tell that it's been wrecked. However, when it's sitting on the tarmac, definitely detracts from the appearance on that glue job. So I've actually really thinking about just buying another one and then relegating this one to learning more stunts, like trying to make a low and slow inverted passes on the runway, improve my inverted flight, stuff like that. That way if it did wreck out, I've got another good backup plane to use. I just like this one a lot. It's right up there. This one and the Apprentice is my 2 favorite, followed by that Durafly Corsair, which Hobby King has been out of stock on those for quite some time. I wish they'd hurry up and get them. I may just go ahead and order the FMS. From what I understand, FMS built the Durafly model. And I better land because I think my timer just went off. Yeah, that's what I understand, is that the FMS builds the Durafly model. So I would like to get another Corsair. It's one of my favorite planes as far as the way they look and everything. So I may try one of those. A lot more money, but it'll work out if it flies as well. Yeah, take a look at that wing right there. That's just a travesty. I don't know if you caught the other video that I made on it, but basically when I wrecked it, it busted out right here around this. This here was completely busted out, and it split the wing up the middle right there. Did a little bit of crumple on the fuselage. Wasn't bad. You can see it up there on that blue line right there. It's not really, it's more or less crinkled the paint. It didn't really do any damage to the fuse on it. Did bust the spinner off, so I kind of makeshifted it back, and actually it's a little out of balance. I'll put the power to it. You can see a little wobble in it, mainly because I had to jerry rig up a washer behind it. And anytime you do that, you're not going to get it perfectly balanced. But it flies. But on this wing, I put in part 1 of my mix, and then, or one part of it. I don't remember if it was number 1 or number 2. Wife called me out of the shop, went inside, took care of the honey-do list, and came back out a few minutes later and thought I was putting in the other part, but it put in more of the same one. Wasn't paying attention, forgot which one I'd use, so slathered all up on there real good. And of course, when I stuck it together and put a couple of clamps on it, and it was 5-minute epoxy, came back 10 minutes later, nothing was sealed up, and then I couldn't get all of the goop off of it. Couldn't clean it off good. Probably could have just dumped a bunch of hot water on it, but being impatient, I just wiped it off with a rag and then used Gorilla Glue. It's the first time I used Gorilla Glue, and let me tell you guys, that will go a little bit along, goes a long way. It started seeping out and kept on seeping out, and got a big white foam buildup on it, and I wound up trying to just keep sitting there wiping off the excess, but didn't really do any good, as when it cured up, it continued to leak out, and then I had to just trim it off as best I could, and that's why you can see the crack so bad in it. But it is a lesson learned on it. Alright guys, I'm going to come swap out the battery on this. Give it just a brief cool down. It doesn't have a lot of cooling on this. You can see that one little, got a little bit of area around the prop there, not much at all. Then you got one little slot here. Hopefully you can see this. One little slot right there. So it doesn't have a lot of cooling coming through on it. And there's the fuselage, what little crack it did put into it. So I don't really like flying it back to back without giving it a 5 to 10 minute cool off period. It's probably not going to hurt anything, but better to err on the side of caution, I think. I'm getting really good flight times out of this. I have my, you can see I have my timer set for 10 minutes. And let me set this back here so it doesn't blow it off the table. Yeah, I've got my timer set for 10 minutes, so we had a full 10-minute flight just now. And I wanted to show you what the voltage readout was on this. 11.4, 3.81, 3.80, and 3.83. So still could have easily managed several more minutes out of it. There's the quantum logger that I bought. Got this on sale at Hobby King. It was like $38, $39, so couldn't pass it up. But yeah, I think with the pulling down to 3.8, I'm comfortable bringing my batteries down if I really wanted to extend the flight time. Bringing them down to 3.7, no problem. I've never puffed a pack getting them down that low. But I've actually flown this thing for, one time I got 15 minutes on it. But I was really flying it, you know, with good throttle management due to the calm day. Day like this, you're going to fly it hard and heavy, and I could have been ringing it out a little more, but I think 10, 11, 12 minutes is probably realistic on it. Alright, well, thanks for watching.